In the vast, golden cauldron of Ngorongoro, the silence is not peace. It is the sound of a ticking clock, and today, that clock is counting down for a queen. In the first instant, Ngorongoro appears in overwhelming beauty, a colossal golden bowl of nature where life thrives fiercely under the African sun. Yet, the majestic picture is quickly overshadowed by a heartbreaking sight. Beneath a solitary acacia tree, a heavily pregnant lioness is struggling. The rhythmic but futile contractions have lasted too long, draining her strength. Her once mighty roar is now only a weak, anxious groan. Beside her, her magnificent mate, a male lion with a regal black mane, paces relentlessly. He exudes a profound helplessness, unable to fight the internal enemy that is threatening his family. The tension is thick, signaling a primal battle whose outcome, without a miracle, is almost certain death. Then, a small speck flashes across the horizon, growing into a patrol vehicle. It is Alara, the veteran ranger of the conservation area. Her keen eyes, accustomed to seeing the hidden truths of the savannah, immediately recognize the abnormal silence of the lion pair. This is a prolonged, difficult birth, an emergency situation that threatens both the mother and her unborn cubs. In this sacred sanctuary, where the laws of nature are supreme, Alara knows that human compassion is about to challenge fate. The clock is ticking, and she must act immediately. A cornered lion is the most dangerous creature alive. But what happens when a king realizes the enemy of his queen is not a human, but time? Alara immediately shut off the vehicle's engine at a safe distance, not wanting to provoke the pair. She knew she was facing an immense risk. She quickly assessed the situation. The lioness was exhausted, her breathing shallow and rapid. With over 10 years of experience, Alara understood dystocia in big cats, a fatal fetal obstruction leading quickly to infection and exhaustion. She told herself that within the confines of Ngorongoro, this was a natural death sentence. Therefore, medical intervention, no matter how risky, was the only choice. Alara observed the male lion. Her instinct told her to retreat, but close observation revealed something else. This powerful king did not look at her like an intruder. His gaze was entirely consumed by his mate's suffering. He merely paced and groaned, occasionally rubbing his large head gently against the lioness, a gesture of helpless comfort. It was a silent, desperate plea. Alara felt this deep moment of connection. It was as if, in his distress, the king recognized a common enemy, the lurking death. Alara slowly and deliberately retrieved her dart gun. She had to deliver a precise shot and use a meticulously calibrated dose of anesthetic, strong enough for transport, but gentle enough to protect the unborn cubs. This was a display of precision and nerves of steel. Alara aimed at the lioness's flank and pulled the trigger. The moment the dart embedded itself in the flesh was one of extreme tension. Alara braced herself for a ferocious attack from the male lion. But something astonishing happened. The male lion barely reacted. He just stood still, watching Alara with a gaze that mixed suspicion with a strange, unspoken permission. Alara rushed toward the gradually immobilizing lioness, quickly checked her abdomen, and began initial stabilization steps. The male lion stood so close that his colossal shadow fell over her. This was a living testament to the unspoken trust born out of despair. A magnificent wild creature had temporarily entrusted his family's life to a human. Alara contacted the veterinary center and the specialized transport team. Time was now measured by the lioness's weak heartbeat. When a specialized vehicle with its stretcher and lifting system arrived, the next challenge was the male lion. He allowed Alara's initial intervention, but would he accept his mate being taken away completely? The team worked quickly and professionally. They carefully secured the heavy lioness onto the stretcher. Throughout the process, the male lion stood like a silent sentinel. He paced around the perimeter, occasionally emitting a deep, low growl, as if to remind them of his invisible boundary. He was weighing his strongest instinct against the strange, life-saving actions of these humans. It was a reluctant concession, one that could only be granted by a desperate king. As the team loaded the Lioness onto the vehicle and began to move toward the veterinary facility located on the edge of Ngorongoro Conservation Area, something unexpected happened. Instead of trying to attack or block the vehicle, the male lion began to follow. He maintained a careful, persistent trot, keeping a safe distance but never retreating. Alara and the entire team were stunned. This was not an angry chase, but a protective escort, a profound testament to loyalty that moved and slightly terrified all who witnessed it. The king's determined pursuit continued until the vehicle reached the outermost gate of the veterinary facility, where the wild grassland met with a man-made fence. He stopped. He refused to cross the human boundary, but was equally resolute about not leaving. He chose a solitary acacia tree nearby, lay down, resting his massive head on his forepaws, his eyes fixed on the building. It was a powerful, silent commitment. He was waiting. Alara watched this majestic creature standing guard and felt a lump in her throat. The drama of the situation was almost unbearable. Was this trust, or just the stubborn hope of an animal? They had successfully completed the high-risk transport, but only because the king of Ngorongoro had allowed them passage. The scene shifts inside the sterile operating room. The environment here was a complete contrast to the chaos of the savannah. The surgical team, led by a skilled veterinary surgeon, prepared for the delicate C-section. Alara could only wait, her eyes constantly drawn to the window facing the wild. The male lion was still there, a silent monument to commitment, a constant reminder of the lives at stake. Time passed heavily. The only sounds were the quiet voices of the medical team inside and the distant chirping of birds outside. Alara stepped outside for a moment, needing to confirm that the king was still keeping his promise. She saw him, unmoving, putting aside his fierce instincts to wait. Alara pondered the power of interspecies connection. This animal was weighing his deepest instincts against a fragile glimmer of hope offered by humans. This vigil transcended the definition of a wild animal. It was a testament to loyalty and love, a reminder that true cooperation is built on respect and patient understanding, even between species. They needed to hold on to their faith, because inside, another battle for life was taking place. Inside the veterinary center, the intense focus was finally rewarded. The delicate C-section surgery was a success. And then it happened, a small, unmistakable sound cutting through the quiet of the operating room. The cry of a newborn lion cub, quickly followed by a second, a third, and a fourth. For cubs were safely delivered. The emotional relief that flooded the medical team and Alara was immense, a towering release from the prolonged tension. Alara stepped outside, cautious but eager to confirm the news. She saw the male lion immediately lift his head. Somehow, the faint cries of the newborns had traveled further than anyone might expect, crossing walls and fences. The king's roar, usually a symbol of dominance, this time transformed into a deep, relieved purr, a sound of acceptance and confirmation. He had heard. He knew his family was safe. In the next hour, the lioness was stabilized and moved to a comfortable recovery room. She rested, her large paws gently touching the 4 cubs nestled beside her. The reward was immediate. A new family was safe thanks to timely intervention. Recovery began, and with it, the male lion's daily ritual. Every morning, he would appear at the edge of the veterinary center's grounds. He lay there, a powerful and silent monument of loyalty, patiently waiting. He never approached the humans, never threatened the facility. He simply waited for his family. Alara and the team would occasionally leave water and a carcass outside his vigil area. This was a quiet, reciprocal acknowledgement of his patience, a peaceful truce. This became the new normal, an incredible demonstration of loyalty that transcended the boundaries of the wild. Alara mused that this proved that the deepest relationships need no language. The lion's steadfast act of waiting was a powerful lesson. Patience and fidelity are universal languages. A connection between two worlds, wild and human, separated only by a fence, but unified by a profound sense of trust, had been formed. They had saved the lioness's life, and in return, the male lion had given humanity a rare glimpse into the depth of a wild heart. This wait was a promise. He would never abandon them. After a long and anxious month of visits from the king of the savannah, the moment for the healthy lioness and her 4 cubs to return to Ngorongoro finally arrived. The morning was clear and bright. The lioness was recovered. The 4 cubs were playful, healthy, and curious. Alara personally oversaw the transport back to their territory on the floor of the Ngorongoro crater, their true home. As the transport vehicle doors opened, the lioness stepped out first, stretching after her long confinement. Her eyes immediately scanned the savannah. Behind her, the 4 cubs took their first tentative steps into the wide world. Alara and her team retreated to a safe distance, their hearts pounding in anticipation. They did not have to wait long. From the shadow of a large acacia, the male lion appeared. He approached cautiously, each step deliberate. This was the moment of truth. After weeks apart, would wild instinct prevail, or would the bond of family triumph? The male lion stopped right in front of his family. He lowered his huge head to face the lioness. Instead of a growl or an angry swipe, he performed a gesture of profound affection, a gentle cheek rub, a silent and powerful welcome home. Then, he turned his attention to the cubs. He sniffed them gently, his massive paws held still, his powerful jaw completely relaxed. With incredible care, he lowered his head further, lightly touching his muzzle to each small cub. This was the complete emotional payoff, a portrait of pure, protective love. Alara stood watching, tears blurring her vision. The lesson was clear. Alara's courage and the medical team's skill had not only saved a magnificent creature, they had saved a future. They had offered a solution where there seemed to be none, and the reward was this beautiful, intimate family scene. The lioness, facing near certain death, was given a second chance, and her mate had given humanity a profound look into the depth of a wild heart. Alara mused. The Ngorongoro promise is that when we choose compassion over caution, we forge connections that transcend all barriers. If this story of connection and hope touched your heart, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel to support the heroes saving the future across the planet. And let us know in the comments, what is the strongest act of loyalty you have ever witnessed?